lead over Stephen McCain in 4th place was like 0.04 of a point. Here's the stud of the American team, and it's that stud that's gotten Blaine Wilson in all sorts of trouble this week. See, a couple of years ago, he stuck out his tongue. He had a stud. And virtually every newspaper in America this week wrote a story about he's the rebel with a cause, blah, 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 blah. Well, we've shown you the teammate that Blaine Wilson is.
Big vault here, handspring double front. All about the landing. Oh!
And the competitor that he is.
You know, Ron Grant said they're trying to set some challenges for Blaine at this competition. He says it's important for him to stick landings. That's going to help him in Sydney.
He just explodes off of this horse. There was a time when Blaine struggled on the landing of this vault. No more.
He's got a lot more energy on this vault. Look at that height.
That's three times around from board to ground. With a little bit of extra power, that step forward, but that is just fine and dandy for Blaine Wilson.
Jamie Natalie says one of the highlights of his collegiate career was beating Michigan with a big-time high bar routine. What about a 9-9? Yes, more than nice.
Yeah!
Meanwhile, Sean Townsend puts up a 9.425 on the pommel horse, so everybody looking solid so far. Blaine Wilson's tally from the judges when we come back on NBC, providing you coverage of the 2000 Olympic trials.
The U.S. Olympic Gymnastics trials are brought to you by Pontiac Grand Am, proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team. By Smith Klein Beecham, the makers of Paxil. By Visa, worldwide partner of the Olympic Games. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by Powerade. Whatever you do to get up for the games, stay up. Powerade on the field of the Olympic Games.
The pride of John Roethlisberger took a major hit in the opening night of the Olympic trials. But he has not moved up in spite of performing much better on the vault here so far in Boston, Massachusetts. So here's the story. Blaine Wilson got a 9.65. The crowd here, which is really into their gymnastics today, booed resoundingly. Paul Homme remains in 2nd place. Stephen McCain and Sean Townsend flip 3rd and 4th. Now it gets difficult and complicated. For Jamie Natalie, for example, the defending NCAA champion, Morgan Homme in 6th, and John Roethlisberger still in 7th. Top 4 go to the Olympics. The other 2 are picked by committee. We resume with Paul Homme, who is 2nd after that first rotation. And you do not want to allow yourself to have to go to a committee, because then they try to fill slots and holes and specialties. And the specialty that the team needs may not be yours.
And that's the problem that a gymnast like Jamie Natalie could easily have. He could end up 5th in this competition, no question about it.
Easy.
He's good enough to do that, but his strengths
today too
aren't really the strengths that the team needs. Paul Homme, this is one of his best events, getting ready for floor exercise here. Trains at Swiss Turners.
And his coach is up there with him, Tim. Stacy Maloney, he told me just before the competition, he's going to keep...
That's going to be it. Let's do it. Be a rock, Paul.
He's going to keep telling Paul and reminding him to keep one step ahead of his body. Just keep thinking about the next move.
He's younger than Morgan by 30 minutes, and they don't even want to think about what would happen if one went to the Olympics and the other did not.
So they both got a good shot of going there. No doubt about that. This is one of Paul's strongest events.
What's up, Paul?
I would say this routine right here is in the top 3 in the country for most difficult exercises on all the events for the men. Starts right in the beginning, full twisting double layout.
Set it up.
Oh boy. Wow. Now that's unbelievable, because he might have lost a 1/10 of a point on that. And just about every other guy would not have been able to recover. He was so off on his transition from skill to skill, but that's why this 17-year-old is sitting in 2nd place at this point. Hear that bell in the background? That means he has 20 seconds to complete his exercise. Dismount, big one, double layout somersault.
Very uncharacteristic there.
Yeah, you know, it's such a hard routine, but he really hopped around a little bit, gave away a tenth or two. It's not going to hurt him all that much, but not the routine that he can do.
Okay, he admitted to us that after the first day of competition, he was tired both mentally and physically.
He's got a big cushion over third place, so he's got some room for error.
So watch what he does here. Not only does he flip twice in a laid out position, but he'll do a full twist on it. Very few gymnasts can perform this as easily as Paul does. Actually looked like he was going to stick that cold. Takes a small hop. Now watch this second pass here. He is just way off, but he is so strong and so tough. This is way too high. He doesn't get anywhere near rotated enough on that second flip, but...
And what's so awesome about this performance is what he ends with. He looks as strong in this final tumbling pass as he did at the very beginning of the routine, but makes a very uncharacteristic step right here. It's going to cost him a teeny bit.
Score for Paul Homme is 9.35, so that's well below the 9.7 he scored in floor exercise in the preliminaries. From the high status of Paul Homme now, we go to Natalie, who sits in 5th after the first rotation. And again, top 4 guaranteed spots. Then 2 others are picked by a committee. This is Natalie now, who sits, as I mentioned, in that 5th spot. So he's on the outside looking in terms of a guarantee. He's got all the enthusiasm. He's great on the high bar. But on the other 5 events, he's pretty much, when you look at the numbers, a 9-2 gymnast. That's a big problem for him,
that
right?
is a problem. It's a good problem to have if you're good enough to make it in that top 4. And he's right on that bubble there. But if you don't have 2 or at least 3 events that you can get that 9.997, it really hurts you in that category. This is a place, though, where Natalie actually can get a big score. He has oftentimes, though, just bobbled a little bit here and there.
And as Coach Miles Avery said that he was going to continue to remind him throughout the meet. He said he's the type of athlete that can put a little bit pressure on, tell him this is for real, kid. You have to do it now.
Other than the high bar, this has been his best event at the Nationals and here at the trials. First day of the Nationals, he put up a 9.55 on floor.
Does a little bit of an unconventional last tumbling pass. We see a lot of these bounding combinations done in the first or second pass. He dismounts with it, brings him 5/10 a bonus. Holds on to that landing. Does that yellow flag go up? That was really close. I'm going to have to chat with Bill Martin after the competition, ask him about that. That looked like he...
By a whisker, he stayed in bounds.
Wow.
What did he say? Do the math?
Yeah, I think I got to tell you, he's having about as great of a competition as one can have, and that's all you can ask. It's the Olympic trials, man. No better way than going out with the best meet of your life.
We have a great game room. It's open from 6 to 9, but people can pretty much use it whenever they want.
If you like rah-rah in your gymnastics, we have your man, Natalie from Ohio State, 9.625. So he's walking the walk and talking the talk. Here's Sean Townsend, 4th after the first rotation. This is one of those events now. He's on the still rings where he had a major problem in the first night here at the trials.
And that really shouldn't happen because he's very good on rings. But every once in a while, I don't know what happens.